My name is Ashley Strand, and this is my self-assessment assignment for Gender 200. And I guess I'm just going to jump right into it. I am a white woman that came from a low socioeconomic background. I still have a low socioeconomic background. I have not known discrimination for my race, but I have felt the effects of sexism and financial criticism. More often than not, I live in a world of microaggressions. I participated in a lot of academic activities throughout middle and high school, and more often than not, I was the only girl on the team, sometimes the only girl on either team. I remember once being approached by another team's coach and having her ask me jokingly how it felt to be the token girl. And we actually were being filmed for a competition right after that, and I was out of it. I probably looked so spaced out, but I don't know, certain things like that stick with you for apparently the rest of your life. In my family, we lived paycheck to paycheck. My mom always made sure we had clothes that fit and paid the lunch bill. I remember the kids who couldn't pay the lunch bill got like cold cheese sandwiches, so Mom always made sure we didn't have to eat cold cheese sandwiches. I got a job when I was 15, so I could start paying for food and everything, saving for a car, gas and whatnot, and I've had one ever since then. There was a little break where I didn't have a job for like a month, and I was freaking out the entire time. But then I got a job here at the rec center, so that was awesome. Growing up, I wouldn't really think about the privileges I had as a white person because I came from, I was born in Joliet, which is like a suburb of Chicago, but most of my memories come from Fairfield, which is a small town in southern Illinois, because we moved there when I was 6. So because I was in like mostly a white community, I could only see the disadvantages I had and not the advantages I had as a white person. Disadvantages: being a woman, not having money, but I don't really think like that anymore. I've thought about what it would be like to be another race, another gender, but I don't feel like I can ever really know how people from other sections of the population feel. I can only hear how people explain their lives and try my best to understand, to sympathize when I am unable to empathize. I think reading and responding to different literature allowed me to gain a greater understanding about intersectionality, especially reading Redefining Realness by Janet Mock. She had a way of describing her experience that was really eye-opening for me, because she belongs to and has experienced so many different sections of the population and was able to talk about them in contrast. It was also really cool to look at gender relations in other cultures, like we did when we read If You Could Be Mine. I think discussing the way that gender is interpreted in various facets of life was also a pretty eye-opening experience. I realized that a lot of people see things differently from me, even if we belong to some of the same sections of society. I also learned that I have often had views in common with people from other sections that I may not have expected. We learned the historical basis for different systems of oppression, including sexism, colonialism, and racism. I did research on the colonization of Korea by Japan and the effects it had on the country's social, political, and economic states. We also looked largely at the effects of different systems of oppression in America. We used both classroom discussion and material evaluation responses to analyze the reasons behind current systems of oppression and how we have all been affected by and think about these systems ourselves. We can now attempt to use the information we have gathered and the introspection we have done and apply it outside the classroom. When I was younger, I was never afraid to speak up when people were making ethically wrong statements and comments. During middle school, that caused a volley of negative phrases to be thrown my way. I was uptight. I had to stick up my ass. I was, quite simply, a bitch. So I stopped. I stopped defending the people that weren't there to defend themselves. Now I want to make a conscious effort to regain that courage, that bite. And if I'm called a bitch, who cares? My mom has this little sign in her car that says, "You say I'm a bitch like it's a bad thing." But it doesn't have to be. I can shut down insensitivity and intolerance in my own sphere and then expand my reach. That means calling out people when they make unethical jokes, stopping locker room talk when I'm around, and confronting people directly even when it will create uncomfortable situations. There's no way to grow if you're never uncomfortable, because then you have no chance to realize that what you're doing is problematic, and you don't feel compelled to search for a solution. I want to help people start their own searches while I'm on my own. And that's all I have. Thanks for watching.